It's 12 o'clock and we're live on City Line. I'm Dan Henson.
And I'm Jackie Hall. Our guest today is the premier jazz artist.
He's an internationally acclaimed keyboardist, vocalist, composer, and conductor. And he's our special guest live on City Line.
Buying a home in Baltimore City can be easier and more affordable than many may think. I'm T. Montier, and we'll talk about how you can become a homeowner with $500 down.
My name is Tim Watts, and today on the entertainment page, we talk to a Baltimorean who was in the new DC Cab movie and the final video from Shalimar.
Our guest is Roy Ayers. Join us this afternoon as we talk to Roy Ayers about the man and his music.
He's with us next on City Line.
Boy, good afternoon and welcome to City Line. You know, I'm really excited today. I guess it was in the early 70s that I first got introduced to the music of the man who is our guest today. Without further ado, let me just introduce you to Roy Ayers. Roy, welcome.
Thank you.
No beard.
Cut it off. I have a few problems with ingrown hair, so I cut it off. Now,
I understand.
yes, you know what I'm talking about.
I understand a little bit about it.
Yes.
Roy, what brings you to this area?
Well, we're doing a concert at Morgan State.
That's next week, right?
On the 17th, that's right. So that's why we're here. We're doing promotion for it, and we're very geared up on it. And we have a new album, of course, out, so we're promoting that as well.
Okay, but you're with Anita Baker next week, right?
Anita Baker's going to be with it. That's going to be fabulous.
Yeah,
At Morgan
yeah.
State, I haven't played Morgan in about 5 years. So this is going to be a great.
I got to ask you, where'd you get that jacket? Can I
I
borrow it
picked
tonight?
it up. You don't believe it. Well, you know, I mean, I feel as though I have to compete with my competitors. So we're talking about I'm competing with Michael Jackson. This is I got this in Hollywood. It's a great coat. It's a beautiful coat. And I bought it just off the rack, just like this. It was great. I won't even tell you how much it cost.
That is fantastic.
You don't want to know how much it cost.
No. I just want to borrow it.
Bring us up to date on some of the things you've been doing lately.
Well, the greatest thing that happened to me recently was the fact that I formed my own record company. And it's called Uno Melodic Records. And that's very unusual because usually in the industry, most of our young artists, especially artists, don't have the opportunity to form their own record companies. And I formed my own record company. I have my new album out, which is entitled Lots of Love. And it's a killer album. It's a great album. It's doing very well, especially in the Baltimore, Washington area.
Well, I would think it would do well in D.C. with that cut on their D.C.
City. Was that perfect timing?
Was it cut on there from Chicago, by Chicago?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I know how to get to the cities. You know,
Yeah, well, when are you going to do Baltimore?
Well, Baltimore's on there too.
That's right.
On the tune Chicago, there's
Okay.
I say something about Baltimore.
But we're subordinated. We should be out front.
Well, let me explain to you. I think you are out front. You know, because you've got some great people here like Mr. Sugar Ray Leonard,
Okay.
among many others. You know, but
That's close enough.
I love Baltimore. I've always loved performing here and coming here.
Roy, I guess I got to go back to when I first got attuned to your music back in the early 70s.
Early 70s.
Ubiquity.
That's right.
I guess a lot of people are curious about how you formed the group, how it came about.
Well, I had a manager named Myrna Williams, and she came up with the word ubiquity. She said, you should call your group Roy Ayers Ubiquity. And I said, what does that mean? She said, it means to be everywhere at the same time. And I said, and we thought about it for a while. I said, that's right. If everyone has one of our albums, then we are, in fact, everywhere at the same time. So
but did that accurately describe your music?
yes, the music is ubiquitous as well because we play a combination of many different forms of music, jazz, pop, blues, soul, you know, what have you. And that's fusion. So it's ubiquitous everywhere. It's a little bit of everything.
Where is Ubiquity now? Is it still in existence?
You know what happens is that any band that performs with me is automatically Ubiquity, which is great. Which is, you know.
So what do? You add on
Right,
as
well,
new people leave?
you have
as
a
old
drummer
people
leave or a new drummer come in, he becomes the new member of Ubiquity because I have the rights on the name.
So it's Ubiquity infinitum.
Yeah, it's throughout Roy Ayers' career, right?
Roy, tell me a little bit about this instrument that you're playing now.
Well, the vibraphone.
Vibraphone.
I must say that my most and foremost teacher and mentor is Mr. Lionel Hampton.
Okay.
He's the man that made the instrument speak. He also laid some spiritual vibes on me because he gave me my first set of vibe mallets when I was 5 years old. My mother and father took me to see him perform. and I always give tribute to his genius.
Now you had, your background is, you play a lot of different instruments. Why did you kind of zero in on the vibraharp?
I think it meant something to me. It gave me some kind of spiritual release. I don't know, you know, in contrast to the other instruments, I like the piano and like the saxophone and trumpets and things, but the vibraphone, I think it was really Lionel Hampton that gave me that spiritual vibe that really came to me.
Explain that though, a spiritual release.
The instrument has a fascinating sound, a hypnotic sound, and it makes me feel like, see, I used to play in church the steel guitar prior to playing the vibraharp, and there is a similarity with the guitar and vibes because of the electronics now, even on the vibes. But it gives me another form, another release.
Roy, I think that's probably what you added to the vibraharp, vibraphone rather. I remember probably vibrations was the first time I really became attuned to the fact that you were playing it differently than anybody else was.
Well, you know, I tried to adapt new devices to the instrument, such as the fuzz box and the wah-wah, instruments that were generally used on the guitars,
yeah.
and other instruments. I'm actually the first artist to amplify the vibraharp, or the vibraphone, whichever name you prefer.
Well,
But they're one and the same?
They're just different brands. That's
Okay.
I'll tell you what we want to do right now. We want to go to a break, and then we're going to put you at the vibraphone. And everybody at home is going to have an opportunity to listen to Roy Ayers, but you also have a little bit of an opportunity to talk to him by calling 481-1313 after this.
It's a treat. Our treat to you is a special City Line mini concert with Roy Ayers.
back on City Line with our special guest, Roy Ayers. And Roy, you were playing that tune. Is that on the new album?
Yes, that's a composition written by arranger-composer William Allen, and it's entitled "And Then We Were One."
Fantastic.
Beautiful,
We've got
isn't
some
it?
people at home who want to talk to you. Let's go to line 4 right now.
Okay, hi, you're live on City Line.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Roy Ayers?
Hey,
This is Hayward Madison.
hi Hayward, how are you?
You're from Baltimore City, first of all. I love your jacket, and I'd like to know, are you married?
Yes, I am, and I have 3 children.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Yeah, will you take the jacket off so we can see your body?
Oh, I can't do it this morning because I
Okay.
have a hole in my shirt.
You don't
you.
care. Show it anyway.
Thank you for
Thank you,
your call.
Hayward. Thank you.
Okay, let's take another call from the audience. Hi, you're
the music
live
business is
on
all
City
about.
Line.
Hello.
Any surprises on line 3?
Hello.
Hi, you can go ahead and talk with Roy Ayers.
Hi, my name is Janet.
Hi, Janet.
And I've enjoyed your music for quite some time. I'm a songwriter, and I'd like to know, how do you go about getting exposure and getting musicians to listen to your music?
Well, the first thing you do is find the musicians. Find out through the Musicians Union or through friends of yours that are musicians. Even contact some of the record companies who would be interested in material as well as new artists. You know the major labels. You know the records that you have at home. Contact those labels. Thank
You know, I think a lot of people don't realize that if you look on the back of an album, on the back of the album, it gives you not only the name of the record company, but the address.
Exactly. That's perfect.
And just send it there, right?
Exactly. Send it there. Send your material there. Make sure you copyright it.
Yeah, good point. We've got a question from the audience. Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Ayers?
Yes, sir.
Out of all the many places that you have performed, what place do you enjoy performing the most,
Nigeria, Africa. I enjoyed that the most.
and why?
The enthusiasm and the being in Africa made me feel very enlightened, and it gave me a feeling that I had come home and to the place of my ancestry
And secondly, where was the first place that you performed?
in my life.
Yes, sir.
There was in church.
And what inspired you the most about it? Just the spiritual movement inside your body, or?
I think
or
I've
what?
always, you see, my mother played piano, and of course we all went to church. You know, that was mandatory. I'm from Los Angeles, California, and the church plays a very significant and important role in my life. I played instruments in church, and of course I sang. But you know, I came up with music. That's been my life. Church, I think.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All righty, we've got another call from someone at home. Hi there, you want to talk to Roy Ayers?
Yes, Mr. Ayers?
Yes, sir.
My name is Larry Jordan. I'd like to say that me and my friends are great fans of yours. And my question to you is, where do you conceive your music? Is it, do you wake up in the middle of the night, or is it something that you just see about you?
You know, sometimes it comes from myself, and sometimes it comes from the people that, like yourself, the people that enjoy my music. Sometimes fans say things to me. They say things like, "What's happening?" And I'll say, "What's happening?" And I'll put it to a lyric. I'll say, "What's happening? What's going on? You know, those kind of things happen. That's the easiest way to write, I think.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ayers.
You're welcome.
Okay, we've got another question from the audience. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Roy.
Hi.
I'm Mrs. Janice Williams, and I would like to know, what kind of advice do you give or have for the young students that are coming out of school?
The most important thing for the young students is, of course, stay in school. It's important for you to get that education, to get that knowledge, to get the education to gain the knowledge in order to go out and work, to find a job. You gotta learn to earn. So stay in school if you can. I didn't finish college myself, but I did go to Los Angeles City College for 2 years. I advise them greatly to stay in school and get that education.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roy, you know, I guess one of the things that's always impressed me about your music is the overtones of black consciousness and black pride.
That's right.
In your music. I guess when the most popular introductory line in America was, you know, are you a Scorpio? What's your sign?
Right, it ain't your sign, it's your mind, right?
Exactly, it ain't your sign, it's your mind.
Right.
And then after that, red, black, and green.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, did Africa have an effect on that?
No, Africa actually came later.
Yeah.
I mean, there was an awareness of Africa then, but you know, I just went to Africa in '79, and my whole life I'd never been before. I think it was just the environment that I was in, the different individuals that I had the opportunity to meet and be with, and they instilled me with a lot of enlightenment regarding my history. And it's important that we do know the history in order to know what happened in the past, especially the negative things that happened in the past, so that they won't happen again, like slavery. You know, and that's just something to think about. You know?
Fantastic.
But since the Africa trip, has your music been influenced by that?
Definitely. By the African musicians over there, too, as well. They have a musician over there named Fela Enikalapokuti, and he's beautiful music. He has 35 dancers, and it's beautiful. And it's not the traditional African type of music, but it's very influential.
Did you cut an album with him, right?
Yes, I did. I cut it over there with him in Nigeria. And not only that, but on my new album, which is Lots of Love, there's a composition on there that's called Black Family.
Fantastic. Okay, let's talk to our family at home. Good afternoon. You're live on City Line.
Yes, Mr. Ayers, I would like to know how you got your big break, and what kind of advice do you have for someone who would like to do the same thing that you're doing?
Okay, I got my big break. The biggest break I had was when I went with Herbie Mann in 1966. I joined Herbie Mann's band. I worked with him for 4 years. And that was a big break. I toured throughout the world for on several occasions, and that's the big break. The second question was?
How can someone who wants to do the same thing you're doing, how could they go about it?
Well, you know, in anything that you try to do, especially what I'm doing is playing a musical instrument and singing as well. It's important that you pursue that what you want to do. That means that you have to go take lessons if you want to play an instrument. That means that you have to also take voice lessons or instrument lessons. That's what you have to do. So get out there and do it, because you can do it.
Roy, but you've not only been a composer and obviously a great musician and a vocalist, but you've done some and made albums, but you've also done some movie scores.
That's right. I had the pleasure of doing the soundtrack to the motion picture Coffee, which starred Pam Grier.
That was great.
That's right, in 1974. And hey, that was a great opportunity for me, because I had never done a soundtrack before.
How'd you approach that assignment?
Well, they approached me.
No, I mean in terms of actually finalizing and creating it.
It was quite different, because it's another dimension in the music industry. But it was different. But it was to me it was very simple, because here you are sketching music to scenes in a film that that are already shot, and you have to just keep the imagination of the people going. And it was interesting. It was I look forward to more films, as a matter of fact.
But you did have the opportunity to see the film.
Oh yes,
I
ran it right in the studio as we made the music.
Yeah, I kind of like that film, as a matter of fact, and I like the music to it.
It was a good film.
Really
Yes,
nice.
it was.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've got the soundtrack, as a matter of fact. You just reminded me.
You must play it tonight.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
right. Okay, let's take another question. Hi, do you want to talk to Roy Ayers?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Bobby Julius, right?
Okay.
Right.
Okay. I wanted to ask Roy Ayers to explain the concept of fusion in his music, because I don't think that a lot of people really understand fusion, you know.
I'll explain it to you.
Excellent.
What I'm saying is that I play a variety of different forms of music. I play jazz, I play rock, I play blues, I play soul, I play gospel, I play classical, I play Latin, and if I miss something, I play country and western even. I play a lot of different forms of music, so I call those forms of music fusion, because they are all now fused it together, and they bring out the Roy Ayers sound. That's how I explain it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, great question, because I'm not sure I even understood what fusion was.
Oh, yeah. Roy, you've performed, I guess, through the years. I know all through the '70s up until the early '80s,
yes.
with a guy who is now really coming into his own as a vocalist and a composer, Edwin Birdsong.
Edwin Birdsong, that's right. Edwin's working now with Stevie Wonder. He's directing the band with Stevie as well. He's also recording on Salsoul Records.
Okay.
And Edwin is an incredible writer and a musician. He's written about 30 or 40 songs for me and with me in collaboration on several of my albums. I really have to say that he plays a very important role in my success through the years.
You know, I'm not the most informed jazz person, enthusiast, or whatever, but for some reason I associate you with Everybody Loves the Sunshine more than anything else I've ever heard you play.
Vibrations.
Well, no, that's for me, okay?
All right.
What, do you feel that is what you're known by greatest, or are there other tunes that people just automatically associate you with?
I think that song was such a big song. There are a couple of other songs that were big, but I think that song just went throughout the world, and it was one of the biggest sellers I had. I think the only one that sold bigger than that was the You Send Me album, because I did the cover on the Sam Cooke song, You Send Me, and it did very well for us. So between Everybody Loves the Sunshine and You Send Me, those are the two favorites, you know. Actually, you know, when you get into the roots of what real jazz is, you know, I had the pleasure many years ago to work with people like Teddy Edwards, Harold Landry Wilson's big band, Phineas Dubon Jr., Hampton Hawes, on the West Coast, a lot of West Coast guys, and that's what I really attribute my enlightenment to.
Okay. You know, I guess trying to expand a little bit on the question that the underlying question a lot of people have asked you as to how did you break in? You broke in, I guess, your first big break was with Polydor.
Yeah, I would say that.
I always associate Polydor, as a matter of fact, with James Brown.
Right. It was really the big break for me as an individual artist, even though I did 3 albums on Atlantic Records when I was with Herbie Mann. Herbie produced three albums on me. Do you know I have 43 albums under my name, and you know I'm 43 years old?
One for each
I believe I might own a few of them. As a matter of fact, I mean, it's easy to listen to kind of music. I'm just curious, though. I mean, you went, I guess a lot of them, an awful lot of them, during the years that I was becoming into your music, were with Polydor.
Oh, yes.
And then you recently left Polydor.
Yes, and that's when I formed my own company, Uno Melodic Records.
Okay.
And I really want to get into the black music market as far as marketing is concerned, and also the Hispanic market as well.
What I want you to tell me about now, though, is how you got into your own thing and why you left Polydor.
I realized that, you know, an artist, in most cases, not in all cases, but in most cases, most artists eventually do leave record companies. Okay. And generally, when they leave those record companies, they're not prepared to go out on their own with their own record company. So I did all my research early, and I started planning for it. I think that you have to plan for things ahead of time. So I planned for the record company, and I waited till the appropriate time to make my move so that I wouldn't financially burden myself. And I formed my company, and I left Polygram.
I really hope it's a great business decision.
Fantastic. We're going to take one more call. Hi, do you want to talk to Roy Ayers?
Yes. Hello, Mr. Ayers. How are you today?
Fine. How are you?
Just great. My name is Kelly Ash, and I'm visiting from Wilmington, Delaware. And you have a lot of fans in Delaware, I must add. I have 2 brief questions for you. And one is, are you going to be at the famous ballroom tonight with Dizzy Gillespie?
No, I'm going to be at Morgan State on the 17th.
Oh, you are?
With Anita Baker.
But you are appearing at Blues Alley tonight.
I am appearing at Blues Alley
in
tonight.
DC.
That's where I am right now tonight, Sunday night.
That's right.
The 11th, I'll be at Blues Alley if you can make it in D.C.
Great. I have to be there then.
All right, starts at 9 o'clock.
I have one more brief question for you.
Sure.
And that is, what are your plans for the future for the music industry?
Oh, I'm just going to start recording new artists.
Are you?
Yes, I'm going to start getting more into video. You know, that's right. New artists as well as established artists that can get deals with major corporations.
That's where
so I'm going into the business full force.
Oh, great. That's where the industry is going these days, video.
Hello.
You know, we also have, we have a person in Wilmington, Delaware who's a very good vocalist.
Okay, you're going to have to wrap up quickly.
Okay, we have I have a good friend of mine in Wilmington, Delaware who's a very good vocalist, and I wish there was some way I could get him in touch with you so that maybe you can, you know, hear him and maybe produce one of his albums or something like that.
You can have him send a cassette or something, whatever you have, a tape or cassette.
If you could just give me a brief address.
Okay, guess what, caller? We have the address that we're going to put on the screen before we leave today's show, okay?
Very much. Thank you.
Stay tuned. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take a break right now and come back with more Roy Ayers. Speaking of sounds of Africa, Roy Ayers is now going to take us to Ethiopia. Roy?
Roy Ayers, our pleasure to have had you. We could feel the vibes, by the way, of the motherland.
Thank you so
Thank
very
you for
much.
coming by to see us. He will be at Morgan State University next Saturday night, and he's at Blues Alley tonight. We're going to take a break and come right back. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Really.
Roy, thank you.
Oh, thank you, Papa. I didn't see him. Touch me.
Oh, lovely.